What's up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 127, and I am Adam Choi. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. It's just Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. Please be sure to subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on YouTube as well, of course. Tedeschi Trucks Podcast.com will get you to all the social media also, and all the links to listen and watch. AdamChoit.com for all my personal stuff, and the band is at TedeschiTrucksBand.com as well. I'll plug all of that stuff at the end too. But today we are going to recap the band's shows this past week, July 18th, 19th, 20th, and 22nd in Cincinnati, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and respectively. We have Alicia and Matt returning to the podcast to tell us about Cincinnati. We got newcomer Richie Walter to talk about Ohio, Cuyahoga, and we have returning guest Kelley Keyes to talk about Milwaukee and St. Louis. So I am actually going to switch to a correct mic. I should sound better now, actually. But that aside, let's bring on our guests and get into the shows. How we doing, everybody?
Hi.
Oh, good to see you all. Good to talk TTB. Everybody's doing okay. Probably everyone's been traveling around a little bit, running around, seeing shows. Busy times. Richie, why don't we start with you, because we have some returning guests here. So Richie, why don't you tell me about a little bit about where you are first of all, and a little bit about your musical background. What did you grow up listening to? You look like you're still a young man. So tell me about your musical life. Do you play instruments? How did you discover TTB? I'll kind of give you the floor to tell me a little bit about your musical journey.
Hi, I'm Richie. I'm located in Akron, Ohio. I grew up listening to a whole lot of nothing. My parents are not super musical people. My mom is a big fan of 80s music, Billy Joel and Elton John, but she didn't listen to a whole ton of music when I was growing up. And my dad had me make him a playlist a few years ago of about 50 songs that he enjoys, and that's his cutoff. But when I was in elementary school, I started playing mandolin with my school's orchestra and became a classically trained musician for about 8 years. And I picked up playing guitar somewhere along the way. When I discovered Tedeschi Trucks Band was right around the time when Greg Allman passed away in 2017. I heard the news and started listening to some of the Allman Brothers stuff, and I had found one of the live shows from a little bit later in the Allman's life, and I was looking at the set list, and I noticed Derek's name as the guitar player on there, and that kind of led me down the rabbit hole, and ever since I've been following the band.
Yeah. And have you seen TTB before this Cuyahoga Falls show?
Yeah, this was my 7th show.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, so you're hardcore.
Where else have you seen them?
Where else have you seen this, Matt?
I've seen them a couple times at the Akron Civic Theater. I just saw them in February at the Palace Theater in Columbus. Saw them in Canandaigua, New York. I went to Cincinnati a couple years ago. And I saw a back-to-back show, Cincinnati and Dayton, I think it was. They were close.
We were there.
Yeah.
It
was a good time.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to say Canandaigua and Cuyahoga. I'm working on it.
Yeah, they're hefty names. Canandaigua.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool. Do you play slide guitar also?
I do. Back when I was first listening to the band, I was pretty new to guitar, and it was so different from what I had known, because I'd been playing mandolin for a couple years, and I started messing around with open tunings and slide, and it started making sense.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, why don't we, I guess, get into the shows? Alicia and Matt, tell me about Cincinnati. Where are you guys located again? I can't keep up with everyone.
We're in Cincinnati.
You're in Cincinnati. So perhaps a short journey to the venue. So tell me about your
20
journey.
minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's probably the furthest music venue that we go to from our house. So
what's that?
I said it's probably, as far as in town, it's probably the furthest away music venue we go to. Everything else is within 5-10 minutes of our house.
Wow, very.
We got it nice, man.
Are you like in a downtown area?
Yeah, we live right by the University of Cincinnati.
Very cool.
We're in between there and like downtown.
For some reason, I can only see your like entrance and maybe living area. So I'm like, for some reason, I'm picturing like a very suburban thing. But you guys are city folk. It's not that at all.
No, we have a tall house, 66 steps from the basement to the third floor. It's a tall city house for sure.
Well, tell me about the short journey to the venue and the vibe walking in and what it's like, and then we'll get into the music, of course.
Well, I mean, it's one of our home venues. We go there a lot. We see a lot of shows. It's in the same. You use the same parking lot for Riverbend Music Center as you do PNC Pavilion, and Riverbend is like the bigger venue, and PNC is the smaller. What do we say? It's like 4,000. And Riverbend holds
12, 13, 14-ish.
Yeah, 14,000. So the big shows go there. Right off the bat, there was no freaking line like there was in Indy. It wasn't quite as hot. It wasn't quite as humid. So, I mean, that just made for just a little bit more pleasant experience. Oh, yeah, it did pour down rain, actually. It was pretty humid still. But, I mean, you almost couldn't breathe in Indy. It was just suffocatingly humid. And this one was pretty humid. But
it was nice until the rain made it a little different. But it wasn't humid and hateful. The air temperature was comfortable.
But all the seats are under rooftop. So we were on the front row, very far right. And so the rain came in a little bit if you were on the edges, but if you were in the middle, you wouldn't have gotten wet at all. Saved our poster though. It rained so hard that water was gushing in, and our poster was right next to a drain. And I was like, get our poster off that drain. But anyway, no line, easy to get in. They also had a beer tasting beforehand where they give you out little taste of beer. So it was very chill. We saw lots of people we know. It was really fun.
Mm-hmm. That poster is beautiful. And we really don't need any more show posters, but that with the skyline of our hometown and the rainbow foil that they did it in, we couldn't pass it up. It's absolutely amazing. The artist did a really good job. I think I saw he had a few artist prints of that available in the foil, numbered from him. If you're into Cincinnati and or TTB, it's worth it. It's beautiful.
That is a gorgeous poster.
Derek.
And surprisingly, the merch lines at Indy were insane. And we got there, I'm not going to say late. I mean, Ziggy went on at
7.
At 7 on the nose, and we were there at 20 after 6 and walked right up to merch and got that, which was really surprising. And they still had a few available because I was texting some friends that I thought might beat us to the venue. I'm like, hey, if you're going for merch, grab me one because I don't think it's going to last. And when we got there, they still had some. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, poster art by Derek. I was going to say poster art is by Derek Perez of Paragon Creative did this one. Yeah, this is super impressive, this poster. I think even is it me or is the band getting even better, but so are the posters and everything surrounding the band. It seems like they're stepping up their game. I don't want to say stepping up their game. That's not fair, but like I'm just super impressed.
My one knock on TTB, they kill it with posters. Their t-shirts are always kind of meh. I don't find myself. I think I own one TTB t-shirt. I probably have 10 posters, but I have like one t-shirt. And that's weird.
You know what? Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not. I have a couple of t-shirts. I have some posters as well, of course, but I like the hoodies. I'm more into the hoodies. If I get a TTB, the TTB hoodies that I buy and wear, it's like once I buy a TTB hoodie, that's like my hoodie for the next like several years, and they're well made and they've lasted. Like, so I'm into the TTB hoodie. I'm gonna start a whole page or something for that. I'm just kidding. No, but the posters are awesome, and this one, there's just a lot of them like you can look at for a long time and just notice lots of new things. And there's probably so much in there that has a deeper meaning to the band and to the artist than what we could, and really to the city and the people that live there. I think that's really what makes the posters special, or one of the things that makes the posters special. It's not just like a picture of, the skyline or something about the city, one thing about the city. It's lots of little nuances that only people in that city are really gonna know about. And that makes every show that much more unique experience, I suppose.
Yeah, that bridge is just iconic to Cincinnati. It was actually the prototype for the Brooklyn Bridge. So, it's like one of the oldest, whatever, that kind of suspension bridges in the United States. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I just had to have it. It was pretty darn cool.
5 minutes before we walk in, we're not spending money on any merch. We don't need to buy any merch.
How many posters do you own?
And we got it. I have no idea. We don't buy them. Like, a lot of times you get them because you get VIP. So I like to rail, so we get VIP and you get posters, and yeah. So they just come,
Yeah.
And
What a problem to have too many posters.
I've just given up.
Yeah,
I know.
Too many posters.
We get the
too many
lot.
T-shirts.
What's that?
I'm buying
too
the
many
poster
posters
every time.
and too many T-shirts.
Too many T-shirts than posters. Yeah. I feel you. Should we get into the music?
Yeah.
I can read off the set list here, so the audio listeners. Woman to Woman, Playing with My Emotions, Ain't That Something, Here My Dear, Fallen, Got My Mojo Working, Darling Be Home Soon, Pardon Me, Midnight in Harlem, Feel So Bad, Shame, Keep On Smiling, I'm the Moon, I Want More with Bex Bolero, Bound for Glory, I Can't Make You Love Me, and Walk on Gilded Splinters. I don't know if this is the final complete music that they played, but this is the one that I was able to dig up.
One that is correct, except I and the Moon was Won't Get Burned, I believe.
Just Won't Burn.
Just Won't Burn.
Or Just Won't Burn. My bad. Yeah.
I think you were combining two
songs.
I forget what the other one was.
Yeah, that's the copy of the set list that I got. But I saw somebody else had a copy of the corrected set list where they did scratch out I and the Moon. But I mean, I thought it was a great show. It definitely was a much different vibe. One of the things that stand out is we did not get Ziggy Marley coming out for an encore. And I thought, well, maybe it's just because it's a weeknight show or something. And they did in Cuyahoga Falls. So I found that interesting. But the whole end was so different because I Can't Make You Love Me was the slow song. And to end with that, and then I was like, oh, what could they got to bring this up? They got to bring this up. And then Gilded Splinters, which was for us amazing because they started Gilded Splinters. They opened with that in Indy, and then they ended with it in Cincinnati, and we saw both shows. So that was pretty cool. But I thought her voice sounded just awesome during the whole show, and the midnight was probably it was really really good.
Shelf.
Yeah.
And we did get in midnight, there is that Passaquan tease, and like 2 notes in, I knew it was Passaquan, but I noticed that Susan was on the stage with Derek. I'm like, he's just teasing it. And he does a very subtle tease with it, and it goes into they did a beautiful version of Midnight, but I was really bummed we didn't get Passaquan, but it was great. But getting Shame, that was the banger of what you weren't sure what you were going to get. That was the banger of the night that they dropped on us. It was great.
Oh yeah, Shame is something we haven't heard too much lately. Yeah, no, definitely.
And they were.
No, I was going to say that. Yeah, it's first of all, it's quite something that we kind of talked about this week after week, how they can really close the show with anything, and
they're so flexible with their own music, and that's a credit to it and a compliment to it. That literally, I think Indianapolis was the show right before this one. Was it not? It was the previous one.
Yeah,
so
they had 2 days off in between.
Right, and they started that show with Gilded Splinters, which is an unexpected thing, and then finishing a show with Gilded Splinters, which is also an unexpected thing. Because I don't know if I don't want to say that we've never gotten either of those before, but like it's definitely not in a while that I recall or that I've seen. It's just a compliment to how amazing and how powerful all their songs are, and you could start and finish and pick them all out of a hat. I mean, but they, of course, this is all curated for us, and I definitely appreciate that for sure.
We definitely, I noticed that night, I did notice it in Indy, we had a little bit better seats, but I guess it was just the angle. Susan basically has a boss lady microphone behind her that if she's calling an audible to the crew and the band or whatever, and they're the only ones that hear it. She calls out whatever, and to be able to do stuff on the fly like that and have everybody on the same page, which was pretty cool. And that show, the Cincinnati show, was very solo heavy. They gave everybody a good bit of time to come out and play. It was really cool.
And Alicia had some great vocals. Which song did we decide that was? I think in Shame, but was it Bound for Glory that they just
let her go?
They just let her wail. It was freaking awesome, and that was who we were in front of the singers more so than anybody. So that was great just to watch her. And of course, we got Part of Me or Fall In that has the Cincinnati sway.
Fall In, yeah, they have. There's a Cincinnati's in the lyric of that song, so of course they had to play that.
They played that.
They did a great. It was a long version of that song.
Yeah, I need to dig that up because I'm sure you got a roar from the crowd, a reaction from the crowd when you mentioned the cities.
Cool.
Cities tend to like it when bands or an artist mention their name on the microphone. That tends to get a reaction. And it's funny to hear you talk about the teases that Derek did and has been doing more of. I think, and we've been talking about how it's just like they have so many songs and so many songs to choose from. They can only a way to sort of squeeze them in or give a nod to them is Derek kind of doing some of those teases. And it's funny to hear you say that, oh, this is not going to be Passaquan because Susan's on the stage. I've only kind of like heard some of the teases from audio. So I'm like guessing, I'm like, is this going to be Midnight or is this going to be Passaquan? Because I don't see Susan on archive.org, the audio. But that's definitely the way to know. And plus, well, Passaquan's also, I think, a smaller lineup. It's not 11. I forget the exact.
No, when they do it, I think it's just 4 or maybe 5 of them out there when they start. When they start.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Didn't you get it though, Richie, in Cuyahoga Falls?
What was that?
Did you get a Passaquan?
Yeah, they played Passaquan in Cuyahoga Falls. It was pretty great.
Well, that's not a bad transition. Do we have anything else to mention about this show? Like we didn't even talk about Darlin' Be Home so much. I don't think they've played maybe, I don't know about this year. For me, especially when they play that song and I hear it for the first time in a while and I hear a new version for the first time in a while, that hits me. It's like something about that song. It's very special, very emotional. It means a lot to me personally, and I'm sure to the band. So to get a Darlin' Be Home soon smack in the middle of the set, that must have been a surprise.
Yeah, and Mojo and Bex Bolero both were absolute just fucking flaming. They were insanely good.
Yeah, I think they like Cincinnati, but it was definitely a way different vibe than Indy. And yeah, like I said, interesting that, I mean, it ended on a high note, but not the, Ziggy all skate. That's what I saw on some of the set lists, said all skate. And then I saw some that called it something else.
Oh, the whole enchilada.
The whole enchilada.
I think that with
I saw Smorgasbord, which I like.
Yes, that's the other one, yes.
I was going to say, I think with the Ziggy stuff and some of these other artists, I think it's just availability. It's just like scheduling. Can they stick around? Like, because obviously they did the one show, I forget where it was, but Ziggy came out at the beginning. So we were all kind of hypothesizing that the reason for that is just because Ziggy had to be somewhere after the show. So let's get him on stage now. So I think it's just scheduling. It's more than like, I don't know. I'm sure they definitely enjoyed playing with Ziggy and touring with them, and the fans really enjoyed that him with TTB as well. A lot of great reactions.
Seeing them twice, they were a solid band, top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous, certainly. That sounds like super fun stuff all around. Cool. Let's move on to Akron, Cleveland, Cuyahoga Falls. All right. Richie, why don't you tell me about your journey to that venue? Also, a short trip for you, I gather.
Yeah, it was a pretty short trip over to the show, but honestly, distance doesn't matter to me. I'll go anywhere for it. We got there, and this was kind of an interesting night for Blossom because they kind of had 3 shows in a row. The 18th, they had Fall Out Boy, which was just a big blowout, full amphitheaters full, the entire lawn packed. And then Wednesday is the TTV show, and then Thursday was Jason Aldean. And I went in thinking, okay, this might be kind of quiet considering the 2 heavy hitters that are bookending this show, but there was a surprising crowd there. It was kind of impressive how much draw they get for a relatively niche band. And we had a great time. Ziggy came out and did his show and had the crowd moving more so than most opening acts that I've seen with the band. And he just had a great show and came back for the encore, which was just once in a lifetime kind of thing.
I bet. Where were you sitting at this show?
I was towards the middle stage right in the seats. It was maybe 2 or 3 sections back. I think it was section 25, but doesn't really mean anything.
I got the poster here. This is
gorgeous.
Impressive.
It was sold out by the time I got there.
Where'd I go? Well, there we go. Oh, these posters seem to just like hotcakes. Super in demand. Yeah, I'm not gonna just describe the poster. But a lot of them do incorporate a lot of the. Someone says I'm gonna try it. It's like kind of a Greek Roman kind of like classic, a little bit style. And some of the I Am the Moon imagery with like a woman. Like I think of Layla and the I Am the Moon imagery, certainly looking at this. They're all just so stellar. Like I say it every week. I wish there was a museum. Maybe that's Kelley's house is the museum of posters. I forget whose house. What's that?
The basement.
The basement is the poster museum. Shall we get into the music? Oh, look at that. I found the right one here. We got Anyhow, Statesboro, Do I Look Where I'm the Moon, Get What You Deserve, Yes I Will, Passaquan, I Wish I Knew, Gravity, Fire and Rain, Made Up Mind, Midnight in Harlem, My Pity the Fool, Heartbreaker, I Want More, Bex Bolero, Rastaman Chant with Ziggy, and Sly Medley as well with guests. They keep sprinkling in new stuff to the sets. They got the Darlin' Be Home Soon and bringing back Shame. Not new stuff, but stuff that they haven't played as much this year or on the summer tour. And then here you're getting Fire and Rain and what was the other one? So Get What You Deserve. They haven't played too much. They're kind of bringing that back in a little bit to the full. But yeah, the Fire and Rain is certainly something that jumps out at me. But I'll let you go through it or speak to what jumps out at you and give you the floor to recap for me.
Yeah. I mean, kind of building on that, it's been kind of weird the past few weeks looking at these set lists. There's a lot of tracks from kind of the late Derek Trucks Band days, like around the 2006, 2007, because they've been doing, at this show we had I Wish I Knew, and there was Feels So Bad for a couple nights in a row, and they've been doing that this summer. It's kind of interesting to see all that, but seeing kind of some of the older tracks mixed in with the new is out of this world. I mean, one of the biggest worries I had when I Am the Moon came out was that it was this big project that was based on writing, and the songs were fantastic on the album, but I was like, how are these going to translate live? And the 2 songs I've seen since it came out proved that every tune on the album is just improved live. Gravity I saw for the first time Wednesday, and it's just out of this world live. Passaquan is a whole separate experience.
You knew that all
It's
those
just-
songs were going to be awesome live. You were just curious what they were going to sound like ultimately on the road, because that's we all talk
Yeah.
about as soon as we out, and the band talks about it too, like how the songs, like how they're excited to see how the songs will grow on the road, because they know that they're going to stretch things out and even do some different arrangements in terms of who gets what solo when and all that stuff, of course. So that's exciting. Like even a year from now, like I'm curious to see even like think about where can Passaquan go? Like, I guess Passaquan is totally different every night, but like, it's interesting to listen to a 2021 Passaquan, a 2022, whatever. Like, just how the songs evolve is just so fun to follow. But I'll let you keep talking.
It's just gonna keep changing, because this band is unlike any other of the popular bands these days. They're not gonna let their stuff get stale, and that's what we love about them. We love hearing something new every single night, regardless of the familiarity of the set list. We just had a great time.
If you pause back on that one and you look down below the set list, there's me waiting for a set list.
What's that?
From the show last night, the picture they took of the set list with the theater in the background. If you look below
Let me find that.
Right in front of the stage, waiting to be fed. Next one.
You're in this
I have
picture.
a hat on.
What's that?
I have a hat on. Yeah, just to the right.
Where am I looking here?
Right. Yeah, right there. That's me.
Oh, this is you right here?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
That's so fun.
Tag the band should tag you or something.
Right?
Like
that. I need a tag in that.
Maybe they'll go back and change it. Go tag in.
Tedeschi Trucks Band with Kelley Keyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest highlight of this whole show, we spent the whole typical set was on fire. Anyhow, it was such an intense opener, but the big highlight was the encore. Seeing Ziggy come out and do Rastaman was my biggest hope for the show. I was like, okay, this is Ziggy's last night with the band before he goes off, and I think he's playing Red Rocks this weekend. And I was like, they got to do Rastaman, and they did it, and it was such a fun time. And then bringing the rest of the band out for Sly was unbelievable. And my highlight at every single show is when every piece of the band gets to shine a little bit, and Sly was definitely the time for this at this show. And hearing Gabe and Ziggy's piano player, who I didn't find his name for, do their duet solo into Brandon's solo with Ziggy's bass player, it was just unbelievable. The horn section had a killer solo. Everybody got to shine on that tune, and it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I wish I was. I wish I was there. That might be my clip for social media right there. Newcomer Richie tells me all about how much he loves. I can hear it in my head. That's like I can tell just like how much you love music and love this band, and how much we all do. And we all feel the same way. This is just so much fun for me. And I'm just looking at the set list. I don't even know where to begin in terms of, because it's all just so. I didn't hear a single one of these songs, but I know all of them. I can hear them all. Just thinking about what Derek does on Gravity, I can only from show to show where he takes those solos just must be unbelievable every time. Like, he digs in on the outro for that song.
Yeah, a song I've never heard them play live is "I Wish I Knew," and I don't know if they always do it like this, but at the beginning of "I Wish I Knew," Ephraim Owens played just the most killer trumpet solo I've ever heard. It was so out of this world. And then they go into the song, and I'm like, what song are they playing here? And it's "I Wish I Knew." And I was like, oh, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a minute. I don't know how long they've been doing Ephraim solos, but yeah, it just builds and builds, and it's just like once the song starts, you can't help but just to be totally hooked in. And that's like the thing with this band. Like every single song hooks you in, no matter what the tempo, no matter what the genre, no matter what the style, no matter what the combination of the band, even if it's a song you don't know or haven't heard, or it's a cover, by the time you hit the first chorus or something like that, whatever the case may be, or the first guitar solo, you're like, oh, I see why they chose this song to either write or cover or whatever the case may be. And just, yeah, they just make everything their own. I've been talking to some people about online about how they make all the, like Statesboro, for example, they make everything their own, and they really do capture the spirit of the Allman Brothers in a lot of ways, and their ferocity with their music, but incorporate TTB and the TTB personnel to take the Allman Brothers songs or whatever they're covering to even the next level, and at the same time making their own. And this is not an original thought, but every TTB cover, it sounds like an original TTB song.
You know what's fun too?
That's part of the magic. Go ahead.
All these songs like, oh, did you get to hear I Wish I Knew? Or, oh, did they play Passaquan? At some point, it's not like, oh, well, did Mark and Alicia sing at the end? Or did they have this? Like, so we're even getting into not just did they play that song, but which version of that song did they play for your show? Which is, I don't know, keeps you on your feet, keeps them excited about doing these same songs for us over and over because they keep switching it up on us.
Yeah, like when they played, even like just thinking like you probably got the full intro, Midnight in Harlem, some kind of long intro, I'm guessing, based on where it is in the set list. But they did Midnight second, they did it once, did it first to start a show this year. So they're even moving that around, and they got some different versions of that song. Did you get a Midnight Harlem with a long intro? Did you get a Little Martha tease? Did you just go right into the song and play it second in the night or something like that? So like, yeah, I really love to dig into all the details of how they present these songs to us. What else you got? Anything else? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what how they choose the songs that they're going to play, because I remember hearing a clip from an interview. They were talking, and I think Derek said that pretty much every time they choose a new song to play, whether it's a cover, it's just the whole band sitting on the tour bus listening to whatever radio or playlist that somebody's put together, and hear the song come on the radio. They're like, oh, I can see how that fits into our band here. I can hear where the trumpet solo should go here. I can hear the vocal opening. And they just put it together on the spot because they just are so they have such an intimate knowledge of how their band works and how everybody's puts together their sound. It's so unique, whereas you hear a lot of bands who just have one central lead and then people who are supporting that lead, whereas this band is about everybody on stage.
I always say that like Susan could sing the phone book, and Derek could make any riff melodic with his slide and be moved by him warming up is more moving than many guitar players playing the middle of their show. But they really can like make, I forgot where I was going with that, but make anything their own for sure. Yeah, anything else jump out at you from this set?
I think that was the gist of it. We had a great time. It was Isaac Eady's birthday. We all gave him a nice birthday shout out, which was fun.
Yeah, they posted singing happy birthday. I saw that on the social media. Good stuff all around. Let's keep the train moving along, I guess. Next night was Milwaukee.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, it was I guess exactly this kind of first about the poster. When my first reaction to it was like, like it's so simplified when you look at the recent run of posters. And I was reading, some people, of course, are very upset about this. Oh, skipping this one, hard pass. And the artist actually went on one of the threads on social media and was like, hey, the band asked me to, do something inspired by one of the songs, and I chose I Am the Moon, and then I was lost in the wilderness. That's where I heard our song. And once I kind of had that context for it, I was like, I actually am in love with this poster now. So then, of course, I had to get the variant. But yeah, so that'll be on the wall next time.
That's funny. I was gonna say that's funny because I didn't catch some of the negative reaction to this poster. I thought it was all positive. I people talking about the warmth and how much this pops and stands out, and mentioning sort of the more simple aspect of just silhouette couple and magic hour. Like I saw a positive reaction and I thought exactly what the artist was thinking. I thought of I Am the Moon, the song, the heartbreak of the song, the romantic aspect of the song, and the album and the Layla's story. Like I thought of all those things. Like it's definitely
you did, but
yeah, it's a departure to some degree from the more like psychedelic type, more out there, busy, not in a bad way per se, posters that we've even been looking at so far today. But I like this one too.
He said too that all of the skies are slightly different just because of the way that they were printed. So I thought that was really neat too.
That was done on purpose. Like the color was slightly different on some of the skies.
Oh, yeah. So no two skies are exactly the same.
Wow. That's deep.
I think I have, hold on. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, this is just such a beautiful poster. Like it exudes warmth. Yeah, that one's a little bit more orange.
That would look great in our foyer.
Right? So let's see.
Yeah, and to some degree, in some regard, I feel like this poster is almost more, I don't want to say more artistic, but it's almost like more likely for someone who's not a Tedeschi Trucks band fan. Like if you just saw this artwork without the band's name, you'd be like, oh, I would like to have that in my home as like an art piece. All the posters are artistic, but something about this one is like,
it's one that maybe my wife would let me put upstairs.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the perfect way of putting it. It's an upstairs. It's a main level. It's not a she shed or man cave or a PTB cave poster. That's possible living room, den, upstairs office material.
I will let you guys know where it ends up.
I am curious to find that out. Let me pull up the set list for this one. I think I got it here. Here we go. See, again, we're getting some things that we haven't gotten all that much of this year and on this tour. The Letter, Playing with My Emotions, Ain't That Something, Until You Remember, Fall In, Outside Woman Blues, Last Night in the Rain, Keep on Smiling, Here My Dear, Feel So Bad Anyhow, Dreams, Part of Me, Heartbreaker, I Want More, and Beck's Bolero. Is that the third or fourth straight night I Want More? Beck's Bolero, getting a lot of Coming Home and Made Up Mind. But yeah, Coming Home, Dreams has gotten a little bit of on this tour, which is amazing.
Well,
I was gonna say Last Night in the Rain we haven't gotten much of, and Until You Remember, just the right amount of that song we always get, but not too much. What were you gonna say?
I feel a little bit bad. Like I knew I had 2 shows coming up, and I feel terrible for people who like haven't seen Passaquan or really, really, like fiending for it. Because I had made the joke to my dad. We were at another show, and I was like, well, I'm going to be sitting through like 45 minutes cumulative of Passaquan next week, or, something like that. And then I didn't get any of it, but I got a 15-minute Dreams, which was awesome. So I'll take it. Gabe sounds so good on that. Gabe, his voice, it just kind of matches like the golden age of rock, right? Because he can do Blind Faith stuff and pull off, like Steve Winwood almost. He can pull off Greg, and not that he's doing a cover of them, but it's just that his tone sounds so natural in those roles.
That is so well said and well articulated, and better than
Absolutely.
I've been able to do it so far. And to even just mention that this man is covering Greg Allman and Steve Winwood and doing it justice and making it his own, that is just super duper impressive. And he's not even technically the lead singer of this band.
Well, and then Susan will come in, you know, with a, I don't know, like towards the end of the song, she'll get a verse, right?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, but entirely different, right? So it's so cool to have that contrast of, you know, this is, I don't know. It's just so cool. I love it.
I love when you get Susan coming in the middle of a song or later in a song on Woman to Woman or on
Woman to Woman. I was so excited I got to see that because I try not to, if I have a couple shows coming up, I try not to listen too much to anything on archive or, you know, I kind of want to be experiencing it for the first time. And I hadn't listened to Woman at all, but I had heard people say it's so cool. She comes out, you know, and steals the show, which of course she does. I even showed, because I recorded it, I showed it to my wife in the hotel room this morning. And even she was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And I was like, I know, it's so great.
The Woman to Woman intro.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great way to give Susan an intro.
And a cool way to open the show.
Right.
Give the queen her crown, all right?
Right, and I love to hear the crowd and see the crowd getting super excited when she first steps onto the stage or to the front of the stage. And then when you hear her sing those first words of Woman to Woman, it is just bananas because those are not soft-spoken lyrics. She makes her presence known right away. And of course that's done by choice, on purpose. And
she got to do that with the letter in Milwaukee.
The letter we haven't gotten all that much into start a show. That's kind of
it was cool. I think there's a lot of first timers or at least first timers with the band as it is now in Milwaukee. That's kind of the vibe I was getting. You know, I have the like I stand outside and do like the Made Up Minds, the sober fan group thing. So I always talk to a lot of people coming in. And there was a lot of people who's like, oh, I saw them at Guitar Festival. You know, I saw this, but I've never seen them together. So to have them open with that was really cool. There were people that had said they'd never heard Until You Remember before. And then, God, what a powerhouse of a song. I get goosebumps every time I hear it. Like you said, they do it just often enough to where I almost forget about it, but can't forget about it. And then they start it. You hear the horns come in and you're like, oh, here we go. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. You're speaking for me. I don't have much to add. Yeah, no, it was a cool show. It was a really it was a highlight show for Mike. I feel like, I mean, the energy in Milwaukee was wild. I mean, I don't know if anybody on this screen has traveled to Milwaukee before, but I'm pretty sure it's the drunkest city in America. I lived there for a year in my 20s. I can vouch for that statement. Nobody was sitting. Everybody was up. There was so much wooing and, you know, arms up in the air the whole time. And the band was eating it up. Like they didn't change the set list at all. There's no variations on there. They went in full of energy. They finished full of energy. It was a really cool crowd. Was this one of the best crowds because you've been to, I forget how many shows, but many. I haven't counted them. I said I was going to last time and I didn't. But this crowd sounds like it was one of the more fun crowds to be part of. It was a fun crowd. Well, it was fun from where I was at because I was like first row off, like behind Gabe, to where it's like almost obstructed view. So I didn't have any of the wooers in front of me. So that was good. I got to enjoy all of the energy from them without getting bumped into as much. I still did, but not as much, which is fine. You know, everybody in the theater has their place, right? Like the wooers, they get the band's energy level up. You know, you have your very serious listeners who shush the talkers, which is great. I think I'm going to make a shirt for the next tour that says sit or stand, just stop talking during Just Won't Burn. We got to short. I agree, but we got to shorten that. Maybe you could use the back. Yeah. Sit or stand, just don't talk. Sit or stand, just don't
Stop
talk.
talking to me. Just won't burn. You guys are killing me.
Yeah, you're ruining my recordings or some of them.
My motto in life is when Susan is singing, you shut the F up, period.
Right? And whether it's on her guitar or with her voice, just be quiet.
The other thing is, like, people don't know that, like, when the band is at a lower volume, you should, if you have to talk, you go at a lower volume too. And then when the band is revving up, then you could say something to your neighbor, like, if you need to say something, like, because you're not going to disturb people.
We should
just
get
your
like
volume to the band.
An elementary school teacher up there to just hold their finger up.
Shushing is helpful, actually. Shushing is helpful, and shushing is a little bit contagious. You can get a bunch of people to shush. People are all just a bunch of followers. So, like, if they feel like, oh, it's the right thing to be quiet, oh, it's the right thing to be shushing, you'd be surprised.
I try not to participate in any of those activities, but I do occasionally, like, give one of these, like the strong eye, like, are you going to stop talking?
Yeah.
But
not everyone is as nice and as patient as me and you are.
But I'm also, like, representing, like the made up minds thing. So I'm like,
right.
They just saw me standing at the table and I'm wearing the button, and now I'm not going to go in there and be like an a-hole to everyone. Like last night.
No, I wanted to ask you how's that going? The sober TTB fans group.
Great. We keep growing in numbers on Facebook, and more people are coming up at every show that I'm at and saying hello and kind of expecting me to be there or whoever to be there, which is cool. We're still not at every show. We're still in the very beginning stages, but we're beginning to have a presence. So
that's super cool. So it would be like, so the thought is to have you guys represented even at the shows that you're not, by others who are in the group who are organizing. So people who desire to be a part of this and have a sanctuary, so to speak, to reach out to a fan. That's commendable. That's awesome. I'm glad things are
the goal is to have it exist without me. I would love to go to a show and pass by the table and say hello. Right? Like, that's the end goal for this. So
I love that. Be a part of it, but I don't want to do.
I want it to exist more than I want to be running.
Yeah, I want to be just a member. I don't want to run this.
Right? No, it's all moving forward. There's a lot of people who have put a lot of work in outside of the Chicagoland area. So we'll get there. It's happening.
Good stuff. Anything else about this show? Were you going to say something else about the group? Someone approaching at a tail end affair. You were going to tell a story about that. You had some
probably, but it's gone.
It's all good. Anything else? Anything else about the music? We got a Last Night in the Rain, a rarity, a Falcon pen tune. Outside Woman Blues. I'm sure Derek and Susan did awesome things going back and forth on their guitar.
They did. You know what's funny? What I noticed in Milwaukee and last night, they're doing a lot of songs. And I listened to an interview recently where Derek was talking about, hey, I got to make sure that when I'm creating these, he's like, I'm not the one singing. I got to make sure that the people who are singing remember all the words to these. And like they're playing a big variety of music. And there's been a couple of times where they've forgotten where they are. Last night, it was towards the end of the set. I don't remember which song it was, but like Sue just started laughing and looked at Derek, and then Gabe, the ace, came in with just a giant organ solo behind to kind of take over the energy, which was like I noticed and other people noticed, I know, and we were just kind of like giggling and enjoying it. But it is kind of funny. Sue lost her footing with the lyrics a few times, which we've all seen before, but they're mixing it up a lot, so that's to be expected.
Yeah, and in some ways it doesn't happen too often, but in a way it's kind of charming and fun to see how the band reacts to their own mistakes and so to speak, and it doesn't take away from the quality of the show or the music or their musicianships. It's almost a testament to, like you're saying, how many songs they have, and the challenge of putting these set lists together with the giant catalog and all the moving parts. Literally, like they're ambitious, and they're so ambitious to the point where like they put too many songs into a set list. And I've been doing recaps with other fans, and I forget who said it, but things were crossed out, and the guest was like, "Yeah, I think the band was a little ambitious this night." They trying to squeeze a whole, especially into when they're doing one set, they try to squeeze as many and as many songs and as much music they can.
When you go to Disney World, you want to put all the parks on for the same day, but you don't make it to all the parks. You have to trim down the list. Okay, we're not going to make it to that ride at some point in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, I'd rather go to a TTB show than Disney World, but I got you.
I have to go to both, unfortunately.
Should we go on to St. Louis?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's see if I can pull up let's get the poster here. What is this here? Here's the picture with I might as well share this because this is just cool to see too. I kind of probably shared it already by accident a bunch of times, but the picture of the band with Ziggy Marley and the whole crew. I think this is band crew, everybody's crew.
It is.
The band posted this on their social media stuff. Super cool stuff all around. Everybody looks happy. Susan and Derek right in front. Everybody looks well. Good stuff. Let's see if I can find the poster to St. Louis. This is its own unique thing too. This is more of a modern style.
Have the
wow! Look at that. She's holding up the foil here. Let me.
I couldn't turn it down. So here's what it is.
That is cool.
That's killer.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. And I got some.
On the set list on the back.
I mean, you saw me waiting, so yes, I got it.
You love this band.
I do. And I mean, I hyper focus on things, but it's really hard to focus on a band as an adult because there's, like when I was in 8th grade, I could tell you every member of the Smashing Pumpkins and like where they went to high school. But like as you grow up, like bands just aren't as cool because it's just not, you realize there's so much out there and maybe the musicianship isn't there the way you thought it was, or the songwriting, or maybe they're not cool people, but like there's no negatives about hyper focusing on this band. Like the musicians are top tier. They seem to be really great people, like all of them. They keep putting out good music and good shows, and there's nothing to not like.
I know, and like we continue to talk about, it's a different experience every night. They could play the same set list 2 nights in a row, and you get 2 different shows.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what does that say about them? Just how immensely talented they are. Here we go. We got the set list. Go on, Matt.
I've always said you could take that band, split them apart. You could make 3 really kick-ass bands.
Right, and that's part of the fun of the show, is seeing the different combinations on the stage during a show. But for this one in St. Louis, we got Woman to Woman, Part of Me, Rainy Day, Come and Go Blues, Yes We Will, Life is Crazy, Why Does Love Gotta Be So Sad, Sweet Soul Sweet Song, I Wish I Knew, Just Won't Burn, Feel So Bad, Anyhow, Midnight in Harlem, Gilded Splinters, I Want More, and Beck's Bolero to close out the set. And then the encore was Keep On Smiling and Made Up a Mind. So we did get a Woman to Woman with the Susan intro in the middle of the song tonight.
Yeah, it was killer. The whole show was great. I was back and forth a little bit. I was in like a sitting area. And if the people in front of me and behind me are sitting, then I sit. And I didn't want to be, so I watched a good portion of the show from back behind the sound booth, because the way the theater is set up, like, it's like an open kind of window to the back of the lobby. So I hung out next to the EMT guy for part of the set so that I could be on my feet. But it sounded really good from back there.
I get that. Yeah, and for this show, like, again, like the little new thing or the rarity we got is the Rainy Day. Did it rain this? It did rain that in St. Louis?
It did not rain in St. Louis. No.
Because they did that
It
in
was pretty
Chicago.
boiling.
Like I heard it was a torrential downpour, and then they started the show with Rainy Day, one of those Chicago shows earlier this year. Was it you?
Yeah, no, it was like a
telling me about
tornado that night.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it was
that's
wild.
That's such a groove. It's very smooth tune, Rainy Day. I hope we get some audio or video or something from that. I would like to check that out. But yeah, this is again a stellar set list. Bex Bolero is always such a triumph. Keep on smiling. It makes you feel just the way the the title it would indicate. Fuzzy Dunlop here. I was gonna say Fuzzy Dunlop here in the credits says Gilded Splinters was crazy good. He or she was at this show as well.
Yeah, no, it was Gilded Splinters was one of the ones where after every song people was like, oh my god, that was so good, but after this version of Gilded Splinters, like everyone was like, holy cow, can you believe that? It was awesome. And I've seen Gilded Splinters I don't know, probably 6 times over the past year, and this one was really good.
That's a powerful way to end the show. I mean, anyhow aside, but then you get Midnight and then at Gilded Splinters, I Want More, Bex Bolero, the upbeat, raucous, in a sense, Keep on Smiling, and then the rock and roll, essentially, Made Up Mind. That's a really powerhouse way to finish this show. Impressive.
It's only been 3 times, but every time that I've posted something about Made Up Minds on like the Swamp Fam stuff, they've closed with it. I'm just saying.
Just saying. It wouldn't be the first time fans have indirectly or directly influenced set lists, and this band is, as we can see based on the set list, open to changing things on the fly, and it looks like we got a Show Me crossed out for a Made Up Mind. You did it.
I did it again. Made it. I've made it.
You change the name of the group to another song title and see.
What does everyone? We'll take a poll. What do people want to hear the most of? That's what I'll do.
No, the name is too good. You have to keep the name.
Yeah, well, and it feels so empowering whenever I hear it. Like I get so jazzed.
Yeah, and even just like the way they write their songs, the lyrics are really timeless in a sense, and they still feel very fresh. They don't sing. I mean, they sing about, they react to what's going on in the world culturally and in some ways in their songs, but not in a specific way where the song loses its timelessness. Like you could listen to songs, Revelator songs, Made Up Mind song, and Made Up Mind, the song itself, Licking My Finger, Turning the Page. Like that's so relevant to like everyone and anyone. We all feel like we're going through phases and we're in transition stages in some regard from one phase of our life to the next, and especially relevant to your Made Up Minds group. It's just like lyrically, these songs can mean a lot to all the fans and have different meanings and take on new meanings over the years as we grow with the songs, and the band grows with the songs musically too, as they take them on the road and giving people different solos and playing them with different lineups. It's just like this constant evolution that's fun to be part of as a fan. That was quite a rant. I hope some of that made sense.
No, it did. Having kids, like if something's on the radio, my kids can kind of ping what decade it's from, right? Like, oh, this is a 90s song, or this is this, and they're obviously familiar with the band because they live with me. But if they weren't, they wouldn't be able to pin down, oh, this is a new song. It is timeless in that way where it's not like, oh, so-and-so produced this song. Like, I know that this was made, in 1995. And you absolutely can do that with so many other genres of music and different
that's not
artists.
even necessarily a bad thing. It's just really a
compliment
to Tedeschi Trucks band to how timeless their music is. Whereas like you can listen to some other bands, you can be like, oh, that's their era that they did in the 60s or 70s, because you can hear blah, 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 blah. Whereas like you can hear a live version of any of these songs, especially, and they could be from any, again, just timeless quality to this band. What else you got about this one? About this show? Any other comments, Kelley?
No, I mean, Gilded Splitters was awesome. The Bex Bolero was cool because I didn't dig too deep before the Milwaukee show, and while it was on, I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. So like once we started getting into it last night, I was like, yes, and I was like totally ready to, nothing to take me by surprise. I was just like ready to fully enjoy it. So that was awesome. I hope they keep doing that every once in a while.
Yeah, there's something to be said for hearing the song the second time, or like not being caught off guard by it, because in some ways being surprised is fun, but also looking forward to something that's sort of newish is fun. Hearing an old favorite or an expected thing, it's fun. It's just all fun. It's all just a fun experience.
It's all positive stuff. There's nothing bad that I ever get out of this. And, even when I'm like going back to my seat last night and I heard the people, yelling at the other, sit down. And I was like, oh, this is part of the experience. This is fun.
Kelley, who was the opener last night? I see it wasn't Ziggy.
No, Vincent Neil Emerson opened in Milwaukee and last night. And I had not looked into him at all before the show. And I didn't go in because I was at my table because, we don't get a set break on the summer tour. So I was taking advantage of that time outside of the venue. But I heard it, and he sounds real good. I don't know if he'll be somebody that would come and get on stage with them or not. But I think
he's more of a country vibe. I was gonna say is he more like country-ish?
Yeah, maybe more like
Americana.
People always say like you're stapled in his country, and I'm like, yeah, but maybe kind of 12-bar-y blues too. And
Americana.
I'm not Neil Emerson is, but yeah, more Americana. There we go. With a Southern accent. But he seemed like a nice kid. He was at the merch table last night for a bit. So
good stuff all around. Yeah, Come and Go Blues has been awesome with Gabe on vocals.
Yes.
Yeah, Fuzzy Dunlop commented about that earlier. Yeah, Midnight I'm sure was stellar, always show stopping. So much good stuff.
Yeah, we didn't get the Mark solo on the end of Midnight or
the Kebby solo
or on Made Up. Oh yeah, we didn't get the Mark solo Made Up, and then didn't get the Kebby for as long on Midnight. So I don't know if they were just trying to fit more in. It was.
I think so. 8:50. Looking at the set list here, we got 8:45 to 10:54. That's 2+ hours for just a single set. That is a nice chunk of music with an opener that night. Just good stuff all around, guys. I appreciate the feedback and your support of the band and the show and for coming on and all that. Anything else you guys like to discuss or mention about the band? Who's got upcoming shows or what?
We're not going to see them for a minute.
Oh, I got to make some new friends. Where's the band? Let's see where the band is headed next, because we do have. Is it Red Rocks? Is Red Rocks?
Red Rocks is this.
I know Red Rocks is the next.
Yeah, we have some friends.
We got a Kansas City on the 24th. We got a Lincoln, Nebraska on the 25th, and then we got Red Rocks. So looking at my schedule, maybe 26th or 27th, I'll recap Kansas City and Nebraska, and then maybe then we got some time off from the 29th. I see is Red Rocks, and then nothing till September. Hey, Tedeschi Trucks Band, if you want to come to LA, I'll be here. If you want to come do Greek Theater, Orpheum downtown, where my local bar up the street. Sounds good.
Your living room.
We can all cross our fingers for another Red Rocks live stream too.
Yeah, what
see if that happens.
Would is that not gonna? What do you guys have an opinion on that? Because when was that announced last year or whatever? Because I feel like we might have heard about that already, but maybe not. I don't know.
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember.
We'll get a lot of video and audio of that. What's that?
For
Richie?
Peach, wasn't it just a few days ahead of Peach that they said they were gonna?
Right, maybe.
I don't think it was more than a week ahead of time that they announced that Peach would stream.
Yeah. So
I feel like sometimes they just make the decision day of to stream it.
Right.
Who's they?
Whoever's doing the stream, I don't know.
Yeah, the band and Nugs, I guess, would be who they is in the venue,
Yeah.
maybe, or something like that.
I don't know who makes those decisions.
Yeah.
That's behind the scenes, but I don't know. I think it's still possible that we'll get a stream. I'll tune in.
At the very least, I think we'll get some audio from some fans. Red Rocks always gets.
There's always tapers out of Red Rocks, right?
Right.
Like people
Yeah.
need that trek. So.
The band, I think, at least films a couple of videos or something themselves and puts out, even if we don't get the full live stream show. Cool. I feel like I've taken up enough of your times already. I think you guys are ahead of me on the East Coast, Central Coast, wherever the hell we are, whatever time zone. Cincinnati's and
East Coast.
That's the East Coast time zone,
Yeah.
right? And where are you again, Kelley? I keep forgetting.
I'm in Chicago.
You're in Chicago. That is Central time zone. I got you.
Chicago.
Gotcha. Cool. Again, thank you guys. Let's talk more soon. Glad you guys had fun at the show, and I'll let you guys get
Thanks,
on with
Adam.
the rest of them. You got it.
Thanks for having us, Adam.
You got it. Nice meeting you,
you.
Richie.
Good night.
Later, guys. So there you go. Episode 127, recapping Tedeschi Trucks Band. And where were we? In Ohio, a couple of cities, Cincinnati, outside Akron, and Milwaukee, St. Louis. That was super fun. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Richie. Thank you again to Kelley. Hope everyone's doing okay out there. Please check out at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Subscribe on whatever platform you listen to shows on. Positive reviews on Apple Podcasts are appreciated. I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to follow me, adamchoit.com for all my personal stuff, TedeschiTrucksPodcast.com. That has all the links to all things related to this show, including the social media, how to subscribe to wherever you listen to shows, and more YouTube links. And I got links to the band on there to join the Swamp Family Club via the app. TedeschiTrucksBand.com also, that has all, of course, the links related to everything related to the band. Of course, tickets to shows, merch, how to join the Swamp Family Club, all that stuff is at TedeschiTrucksBand.com. Also, shortly, what time is it now? It's 4:39 here on the West Coast, and we have a friend of the show, Bob Beatty, is going to be doing a live stream with Alan Paul, a couple of Allman Brothers experts, going to be talking. They're both authors, so I'm sure they're going to be talking about their books that they've put out. I think both this year they've been released, or was Bob's last year, but they both put out a couple of books about the Allman Brothers, so you definitely want to check that out. On Instagram, what is he? Long live the ABB. And if you check him out on Instagram, long live the ABB. It's pretty easy to find. But he's doing a live stream on YouTube, and I think it'll be on Facebook. Just Google "Long Live the ABB" and you'll find that. I'm going to check that out too for sure myself. But I think that's about all I got for now. Thank you to the guests of this show. Thank you to Tedeschi Trucks Band. Thank you to the crew. I think that's it. I'll let everyone enjoy the rest of their Sunday. I'll get out an audio version of this episode soon, as well as some video clips of this one and the last one. I need to catch up on clips from the previous live stream as well. But yeah, I think that's about all I got for today. Let's talk soon, everyone. Peace.